What's up, guys? It's the Resell Brothers here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We've been spending a lot of time with our families. Hopefully you are too. So for this video, we're going through a lot of our past tips and tricks videos, a lot of our past eBay advice videos.
Our top hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna combine them all together and kind of just go through it and try to give you guys some help throughout the holidays. So check it out, enjoy, watch to the end.
Like, comment, subscribe. Please, if you've got anything out of our videos, that's the #1 thing that you can do for us this holiday season is subscribe to the channel and like this video.
Yep, and we're thankful for all you guys, all 17,200. We've grown a lot in the last few months. We really appreciate it. So keep liking, keep subscribing, everything. We appreciate it, and we'll see you in 2026.
All right, guys, tip #1, don't follow people that no longer sell on eBay. Trends shift fast. Be careful taking advice from sellers that aren't active anymore. I mean, some are still good. There is the exception to the rule, but as a general rule of thumb, you want to be following people and taking the advice of people that are staying plugged in with current trends to give you real-time results and adjust based on what's working now and not what worked, say, 5 years ago. I know reselling has changed a lot since even when we first started, so you want to make sure you're following the right people when you're getting advice online.
Yeah, and also just because they are actively selling doesn't mean that they're putting like YouTube first. So if they're trying to be a YouTuber versus seller, I might try to steer away from that because they're just kind of repeating stuff. We are sellers first, always have been, always will be.
And there's always those people that they do $20 in sales a month, yet somehow they have a YouTube channel, so they could just be a not very good reseller.
And there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're a good personality and people like to follow you, great, that's awesome.
But don't follow what they're doing in their business.
All right, tip numero dos. So I wouldn't just comp stuff and to just comp it high and think, okay, I'm going to price it at the top of the market and hopefully it sells that high. So like we do, we price to sell things, not to have it sit around and hope we can get the highest amount for it. So we look at the actual sold stuff, and if there's some sold between $10 and $30, but most of it is in between, like right around $20. We're not pricing up there at 30, hoping we might be the one that sells it at 30. We're going to try to be practical, sell it in the middle, list it in the middle. Hopefully our listing is set apart from the other ones.
So price to sell, not to sit. We
Yeah.
actually have an example too. I did a search. So this is an item that we sold in the past 90 days. It's a Charles Tyrwhitt button-down shirt. We sold it for around $20. It's about 18 plus shipping. And if you pull up Charles Tyrwhitt pink shirts, this is kind of what you get. You get a broad range of items. This one up here for $31.49 is priced really high. This person is trying to get the very most.
Also pre-owned, if you didn't see that.
Pre-owned. He's trying to get a lot of money out of this shirt. He's #1 on the page because he's sponsored, but nobody's going to buy this shirt for $31.49 when they can get 50 other ones for $20. So if we filter down to the sold over here on this exact item, which is one that we obviously just sold because I just mentioned that, you'll see that this is the one we sold. It says $21.85, but we took an offer on it, so not exactly that high. But the ones that are selling are in around the $20 and actually less price range. So this is a prime example. Make sure you're pricing your items accurately, because if you price that at $30, it might be 3 years from now you still haven't sold that shirt. So it's really important to get your pricing right.
Yep.
Tip number three is list every day, no matter what. So eBay rewards consistency. Use scheduled listings or tools like Nifty, which we use to drip feed your listings daily. A listing a day keeps the algorithm happy. Keep sales flowing through your account, and make sure you're hitting specific categories and subcategories as well. If you have a bunch of shirts, like button-down shirts in your store, make sure you're listing several button-down shirts every day. That way you keep getting that traffic and you keep those sales piling in.
Now, you're going to hear some people say that listing every day is not necessary.
We hate those people.
Well, calm down. If you
I'm a
don't
little
list for a
aggressive.
couple of days, you might not see any differences. But if you go like a week without listing or something like that, you'll start to see some trends of down numbers in your sales. So we recommend you list every day, be consistent, whether it be 5, 10, or 75 like we do. you have to be consistent with your numbers.
Also, I mean, all these platforms, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, doesn't matter where you're selling, these platforms are front loaded. So you get the most traffic within the first couple days of having the item listed. So you want to make sure you're getting that front loaded traffic and listing every day. If you have a big pile of clothes sitting in your warehouse or wherever you do your eBay business, if it's just sitting there and it's not being listed, I mean, you have no opportunity to sell that item, obviously, and you're not getting the increased traffic. It's a lose, lose, lose. Make sure you're getting your stuff listed and make sure you're listing every day.
Get those death piles gone. All right, numero cuatro. Don't be scared of volume.
Tip number 4.
So there are a very limited number of $100 flips out there. You're not going to find them every day. We don't find them every day. So,
Hardly ever, yeah.
If you want to be more full-time or you want to make more money doing this, you can't be scared to sell more items for lower dollar amounts for lower profit. So instead of making $50, $60, $70 on a flip, you might make 10 to 15 on a flip, and that's how you scale.
And this is one of those examples of kind of like we talked about before, like don't follow every reseller on YouTube that maybe they did it 5 years ago and it was a little different. We found that a lot of the thrift stores in our area are marking stuff up. I don't know if it's like that in your area, comment. But for us, all the good stuff is marked up. I mean, not all of it. I shouldn't say all of it, but I would say 90% of the really good stuff that's going to sell for 100 plus, that stuff is marked up. So if you want to be competitive and have a functional business, you're going to want to hit, like we said here, that $15 to $40 price range, items that might not sell for the most money, but they're going to get you consistent income and they're going to help keep your business running.
And this ties back into tip number 3, because if you want to list every day, you have to have items.
Yeah.
So whether it be, like I said, 5 or 10 items, you still have to have those items to be able to list. And if you're hiding out looking for that $100 item and that you're not going to compromise and buy anything else, you're not going to have stuff to list. Your stuff is going to sit that is there, so you're not going to have any of that front-loaded traffic ever. So still look for the $100 flips, and if you like that business model, or not, that doesn't actually have to be 100, it could be 50, whatever, but just bigger flips. If you like that model and you like to do that, fine, go ahead, but don't be closed-minded to selling a little bit more items for a little less profit.
And I think that a lot of the sellers that are looking for these big profitable items, like $50+ profit per item, a lot of these people are going to be the part-time resellers that just want to have like a couple hundred item store. Maybe they're not doing it full-time, but they want to make some money on the side, and that's completely fine. But if you want to follow the 7-figure path that we have, you're going to want to make sure you're mixing it up.
Which, and another one last thing, if they're YouTubers, it's very clickbaity. Christian and I do it too, where you get a really good item. Obviously, you get a really good item, you want to share
Christian
it.
does.
You want to say, I sold a $100 item. That's awesome. So some YouTubers or people, that's what they go after. They're looking for that next item that they found at a yard sale that they can make as clickbait, put in their title, and you're like, man, I wish I could find all that stuff. But really, they're not finding them that often either. So like we said in the first one, be careful of who you're following, because they can make it, it's like any other social media, they can make their lives seem amazing that they're finding all this great stuff, and you're like, man, I can't find anything. So yeah. Anyway, where are we at? Number 5? You're up.
Oh, I got an itch. Hold on. We'll edit this out.
No, we won't. Leave it in. Leave it in, guy. We don't have an editor.
Tip number 5 is curate your inventory. Now, what do we mean by that? It means stick to quality items, solid brands, good sizes, good condition, if at all avoidable. Avoid the damage items that aren't going to sell stained. It happens every once in a while. We'll get something that's stained, but if that happens, sell it cheap, get it out the door. You don't want to sit on an item with a flaw. And if you can, niche down. Say you sell only men's clothing like us, kind of helps us. We have a certain client base. They know kind of what we sell. That if they're looking for it, they come to our store. Height-based pieces, sometimes they don't move. Like maybe a certain style is really trendy. Not saying don't buy it, but be careful. Maybe don't go all in on a certain style, because as you know, styles come in and out. So just be careful with that. Keeping a tight inventory that sells faster builds buyer trust, and it'll help you grow a reputation for your store. Now, if you're doing a volume game, kind of like us, maybe you'll have a little less of a tight inventory. Some items that
I think what you mean by tight inventory is not in the amount, but in the items, in the quality. And so you're not letting stuff in that's not in a good shape or not good.
You're not
brands.
listing an extra small Old Navy
Yeah.
shirt because it came in a lot that you bought and you think maybe I'll get $2 for this. I mean, a lot of the times when people buy in bulk online or from wholesalers, they'll get stuff like that. That's going to completely destroy your eBay store. Don't list it. You're not going to make any money on it. That's why kind of...
Also, the hype-based is more applied to like women's clothing, I would say.
Yeah.
Men's clothing, we don't have a lot of variation in trends. There are some that are more trendy, but for the most part, you can be pretty consistent with men's styles as opposed to women's styles.
And I think hype-based with men, so I agree with that on used clothing and stuff like that. But hype-based for men's could be buying Yeezys and paying like $200 for a pair of Yeezys. At one point, that was a good investment. Now, the Yeezy market's a little more saturated. There are still some good ones, but if you spent $200 for a pair of Yeezys 2 years ago, that same pair could be worth $100 now. So hype-based doesn't necessarily mean I'm buying this from the thrift store. It could be I bought this new Yeezy release. I thought it was going to go to $500, and now I'm stuck with these Yeezys. So keep that in mind. Kanye might have some crazy tweet, and then his value of everything's going to go to the floor.
Number 6, promote your listings. I know it's one of the most frustrating things with eBay is having to promote your items, but you got to pay to play the game. And there are some people that
pay up.
I mean,
got to pay the troll toll, baby.
They want to promote at like 1 or 2%, or like the bare minimum. We don't do that. We do a varied rate at 8 to 10%. So normally it ends up being closer to 10%,
which is a lot of money, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what we would sell if we weren't promoted. So yeah, it is a small percentage, but it's something that if you're trying to sell a lot of items, you need to do. So,
but if you're,
as you can see with the Charles Tyrwhitt example, that guy was on the first page, number 1 on the first page at $31. Still not going to sell it at that price, but he's on the first page.
He's got a better shot. Yeah, he's got a better shot of selling it.
Yeah.
Even though he's probably, I don't even know what he's paying to promote it to get it on the first page, but probably quite a bit.
So, promoting is not a negative in every aspect. Yeah, you have to pay a little bit, but can also be your friend.
Oh, I was going to say, you don't have to, I don't want to give the wrong impression that you have to promote everything. If it's an Arc'teryx Atom jacket, yeah, you don't have to promote that. It's going to sell. So there are obviously variables when it comes to promoting listings. Some things don't need promoted. But as a general rule of thumb, we always like to promote our listings. Next is tip number 7. It is run sales and coupons. We're constantly running sales and coupons. eBay has built-in promotions that keep your store active and competitive. Whether it's a flash sale or a 50% off coupon for watchers or sending offers, promotions help drive urgency, and they definitely lead to a lot more conversions. It's going to get you way more sales. So I think most people run sales and coupons, but if you're not doing it, if you're a new eBay seller, definitely put some time into that. Make sure that you're always running sales and always having coupons in your store.
I believe our coupon is like 20-something% off. That sounds scary, but you can cap it. So ours is capped at a certain percentage to where if somebody's trying to use the coupon on a $300 item, it's not going to take all that money off. So you can make it to where it's less scary. But yes, coupons and sales have made a difference for us.
Coupon. It sounds like it's a Q, but it's a C.
All right, let's accept more offers.
Is it Q or Q? Sorry.
Accept more offers and don't get attached to your items. So what we mean by that is we get a lot of offers. We've been accepting a lot more, especially this year, just because I feel like the bigger ticket items aren't selling as quickly or for as much. So we're taking more offers, moving more product, kind of taking a whatnot approach to eBay, just getting rid of stuff. Still making money on it for sure, but being able to move our inventory, we don't want to keep it. So if we get a $5 or less offer than we want normally, say we got a $15 offer when we wanted to sell it for $20 at the lowest. It's like, well, I mean, we're going to get it moving. We get it done. Like, this item it's not like we're never going to find something like this again. So don't get attached to your stuff. Also, send out offers. We say this all the time. If you have offers to send them. Don't wait for the next day, because if you do them all in the morning, there are some, I've seen channels where they're like, you send offers out in the morning, you do your messages in the morning, do all that in the morning. Well, yeah, you do that in the morning, but when people are in front of their screen at home in the evening, they either aren't checking, they didn't get a notification, blah, blah, blah. They get that notification at night, they see it, they're like, oh, I forgot I like that item, boom. And then they buy it then. So you should send it out throughout the day, not just one time during the day. So.
Tip number 9, photos sell, lighting matters. Make sure that your lighting's good on your photos. You don't want any dark, dingy photos where people can't tell what the item is or it just looks bad. Having a good setup is ideal. Pictures are king. It's what's going to make the buyer gravitate towards your item. It's what's going to sell the item. And first impressions matter. Make sure that first picture is really, really nice.
It also makes your setup more consistent and easier to do and more repeatable. So the better your...
Let's pull up our Charles tier with.
The better your photo setup is, the faster you can be. So yeah, if you...
Like this picture, very well lit. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than most people on eBay? I would venture to say yes. Our lighting's good, nice laid flat. We have a nice close-up of the logo, nice close-up of the size, material tag. We have accurate measurements on all of our listings. That's also very key. You want to make sure that your measurements are included. A lot of times people will ask, you'll get a million questions if you don't have the measurements. So including that is a huge plus for us. We always like to do that on every listing. And we also do a picture of our SKU. That way, if there's any confusion at all, we have the SKU for reference on every item.
When you sell similar, a lot of the times it can be easy to not change the SKU, or you thought you changed it and you hit save and it didn't do it, blah, 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 whatever. If you have that redundancy where you can check the SKU, you can
find stuff when it's lost.
Make less mistakes.
Right.
Okay, where are we at?
Tip number 10.
Offer free returns and fast shipping. Now, there are an infinite amount of people that ship within 3 days. Totally fine. 100% okay if you want to do that. We saw an increase in sales when we've done same day and next day. The difference between those two, negligible, not a big difference. But people see that you have to ship the item out within a day. I think that makes a big difference to them, especially people that are buying stuff for events, that are buying things for presents or something like that. If they know that their item is going to be sent out quickly, that makes a difference. Also, not charging crazy high prices for shipping. So not having varied rates, not varied, what's the one where I forget what it's called. There's a flat rate, and then there's the one
variable.
The one where basically they type in their address and eBay charges them the shipping price that they think it would be. We do a flat rate for stuff that weighs less than a pound, and a flat rate for stuff
calculated.
Yeah, calculated. That's what it's called. We never do it, so that's why I always forget it. But for 2 pounds and under, we have a specific flat rate. Most of the time, we either break out even or we make a little bit of money. Sometimes you lose $1 or $2 because something's going really far away. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You make up for it in the end. But also accepting returns, free returns for 30 days makes a big difference too, because you get to be top rated seller. You get a lot of advantages. You get breaks on fees. You get a whole bunch of stuff for being a top rated seller. And the return rate that you do get from people, if you have quality items and you have accurate measurements, your return rate's not that high. Ours runs between 2 and 5%. Depending on the time of year. Sometimes it's a little higher depending on the time of year. The more summer months, I think it's a little bit lower. So we are running right around that 2 to 5%. So if you think of all the items you sell, it's really not that many things that you have to deal with return-wise. So it sounds scary. It's not hard to deal with. It's easy to do. So it's something that can help you out a lot.
Tip number 11. Cross-list intelligently. Don't rely on eBay alone. Now, this kind of goes back to the people that haven't resold in a while. In my opinion, if you're a full-time reseller, it's crazy not to cross-list, especially with all the software out there. We use Nifty to cross-list the Poshmark and Mercari, and it's so nice, so seamless. I mean, it's literally the push of a button, and boom, I have a listing on Poshmark. It's fully integrated with my eBay store. If something sells on eBay, it's automatically taken out of stock on Poshmark. No Chrome extensions, nothing like that. It is completely hands-free, automated cross-listing. So in my opinion, it makes no sense to not cross-list in this day and age, especially with AI tools that help you integrate your old inventory if it's not already linked up. Cross-listing to me is an absolute no-brainer. So if you're not doing it now and you don't like where your sales are at, definitely consider Nifty. In my opinion, it's by far the best cross-lister. And there's a lot of these new AI softwares that are out to help you with eBay. I know of several ones that have just came out recently, and everybody's talking about them, but they don't cross-list. So it's like, well, some of them don't cross-list. So if you're going to pay all this money for this AI software, why not have it be a cross-lister that you can get multiple sales on other platforms as well? And it still has, Nifty still has all of the AI features that these other softwares have. So you get all the same AI features, fills out all the attributes, and it cross-lists, and it has other features.
D-list too.
Yeah, automatically D-list if something sells. And it has the recreate feature, which basically keeps you constantly having fresh inventory, getting that boost in the algorithm. If you have any questions about Nifty, we have a video kind of explaining that. We also have a free mini course that runs you through all of that and gives you all the information you could possibly want about Nifty. But long story short, cross-list intelligently. Make sure no matter how you do it, whether you use Nifty or any of these other softwares, make sure you're cross-listing and getting that extra sales for your store.
Yeah, we also have a code, Resale Bros, 15% off. And then we also, what else was I
It's
gonna say?
it's the biggest discount you could possibly get on Nifty. So if you're considering it, try it out. 7 days free.
It's,
You'll get
it's
it.
also not just Poshmark. They do pretty much any platform you can think of.
Depop.
Mercari, Depop, I believe
Even
Facebook too,
even Etsy. Yeah.
So you can do all that kind of stuff. And everybody asking about Depop, why we don't sell on Depop. We're considering doing it soon. We just haven't gotten there to it yet because we're dealing with eBay all the time. So
All right, next tip.
Number 12, optimize your titles. Now this is something that is, if you scroll through the listings on eBay, you'll see people that have like 3 or 4 word titles. Seems crazy to me that they think it's ever going to sell. Or you ever seen those ones where it's like 3-word title and then they have a picture of the item on their door or something like that? It just blows my mind. But anyway, so titles are the first impression, what people see along with the pictures, but it's also what gets pulled up by the algorithm of eBay for people searching stuff. So you want to fill it up as much as you can. Try not to use fluff, with dumb things like rare, like super rare or stylish, or
Like even on this shirt as an example, I mean, we got the brand name, we got what it is, a button-down shirt. It's an adult medium. It's got a pink plaid pattern. It's slim fit. Everything you would possibly want to know about this shirt. We have it, but it's very simple, very broken down to where it's based on what somebody would actually search for on eBay. It doesn't have to be too complicated. There are certain like things like houndstooth.
For this brand, and I know people are going to ask, why did you put adult in there ahead of men's? And it's like, well, that brand specifically is 99% men's.
Yeah.
So if you search Charles Tierwitt, you're only going to get men's stuff.
Right.
So why are we putting men's that high up in the title when we could put something else up there in the title? We still have men's in it.
We have a plan.
But if it's something that's more unisex, like say Faraday, something like that, where they have button-down shirts that are men's and women's, then you want to put the men's up there higher in the title so somebody can actually find what they're looking for.
Right.
But yeah, put the most important stuff in the beginning, the brand, and it's we've talked about this before too, sports teams kind of stuff, or something that is, the brand is not the star, the item is the star, where it's okay, this is a Ohio State Buckeyes t-shirt. The brand is JanSport, or like Cutter and Buck, or something that is not a Nike, or something that's not an Under Armour, or something like that. So you put Ohio State Buckeyes first, and you put the brand at the end, because nobody's searching that brand, they're searching Ohio State Buckeyes. If it's a more prominent brand, you put Ohio State Buckeyes, Nike, Polo, or something to that effect. So playing with keywords and being able to put the right stuff in the right spots, and putting only things that are good for the item, and knowing your good keywords, stuff that is important, like these shorts we've been selling. I think I've talked about them before, but they're cargo, but they look like Safari shorts, and Safari has been selling these that are brands that are nothing crazy. They're some Kohl's brands,
magic keyword,
some Kohl's brands, but you put Safari in the title, and it makes a big difference, and they sell for $15 to $20 used. So stuff like that is knowing your keywords and putting them in your titles and making sure your titles are as good as they can be. It's huge.
All right, last tip. I get it. Praise the Lord. Tip number 13, recreate. Don't just relist. And we kind of talked about this in tip number, was it 11? Kind of talked about Nifty a little bit.
Yeah, Nifty, yeah.
But even if you're not using Nifty, make sure that you're recreating your items. If you have an item that's really old, you can use Sell Similar, or you can use Nifty's. If you have Nifty, use Nifty's recreate feature. The recreate feature is even better than Sell Similar, in our opinion. We've seen a bigger increase in our sales using that. It basically takes an old listing. So say I have a listing that's in the 20,000s. We listed it in 2024. It'll delist that listing, pull up a brand new listing page, refill it out with all the information from that old listing, and then push it to eBay as a brand new listing. We've seen a crazy increase in traffic on our eBay store and on those items that were recreated. And we're selling way, way more items. I'd like to say that 30–40% of the items that we're selling are items that have been recreated. So it's a little bit of an algorithm hack. We have a video actually titled eBay Algorithm Hack because, in our opinion, it's really increasing our sales by a lot, over $100,000 up over the year prior. And basically, the biggest change we did was adding Nifty in the recreate feature, which you can do yourself by doing Sell Similar and just refreshing your inventory. But it's super important to not let your inventory get stale, and make sure that if you're not adjusting prices, running sales, that you are because sometimes it's not even the item. You could have a brand new with tags item with a great title. It could be a great brand like Ralph Lauren or something like that, and it could just get lost in the algorithm. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with the item. Nothing wrong with the title. Nothing wrong with the listing. A lot of times there are stuff wrong with items when they don't sell, but it could be nothing. It could just be lost. We've had, I don't even know, countless items, hundreds, maybe even thousands of items that has actually happened to. And Nifty is really helping us sell that stuff really quickly. And it's pretty much automated. So the reason we like to use Nifty is because, and like I said, you could do a Sell Similar as well. But the reason we like Nifty is it's automated, and it's just a lot faster, saves you a lot of time.
And you can do it manually too.
Yeah.
Manually works better. But also, you always, I think you hear people a lot say, I do Sell Similar my oldest items. Why just your oldest items? So we start at our oldest,
True.
obviously.
Yes, good point.
But as we go through the inventory, we do a certain amount a day, and I mean, you get to a certain spot. Okay, this thing is 15 days old. We said all these platforms are front loaded, so even if it's 15 days old, it's not going to get seen as well as a 1 day old listing is.
Or if it's a pair of shorts that you listed in January or December and it wasn't hot outside yet. Well, that's a perfect example of an item. Maybe it's not even on eBay that long, but hey, I'm going to recreate it and get that traffic and get it seen by more people, and just make sure it's fresh and ready to be sold.
And we always do that before seasons change too. So in
Right.
around probably the end of August, September range, we'll go to all of our old sweaters and coats and jackets, and we'll recreate those so they're fresh for people coming in to buy them. And they can be seen instead of the stuff that just got listed by other people and they're not seeing our old stuff. We can recreate our old stuff to look like new things, and people can do that. Now with Poshmark, it gets a little iffy because they don't want you taking stuff down right now. There's that whole thing with Poshmark.
Right. We have a video on that as well.
Yeah, the video right now. This video is being made in June of 2025. So
hopefully
they fix that. Hopefully, if you're watching this in the future, they fix that problem. But right now, when you take stuff down, even on eBay, if you sell it on eBay and you take it down on Poshmark, if you do too many, they mess up your account and get you suspended and do stuff like that. So be careful that way. Maybe not recreate a whole bunch on Poshmark, but that's one good thing about Nifty is that you can not do it on Poshmark and still do it on eBay, Mercari, or every other platform you list on. So you can really optimize your situation without getting in trouble with other platforms. So. I have one more quick tip. Those are our main 13, but one more quick tip. eBay gives you a lot of advice too, so don't just look at what we say or what other YouTubers say. Go to eBay's website. They tell you how to optimize a listing as well. We're just giving you our experience from selling over the last few years and what we've noticed and what works for us. Still look at your own things and what works well for you. Also go to eBay and they're giving you the answers to the test at a certain extent. They're telling you what they say they want out of a listing and what they want out of a seller. So take that into consideration as well.
This video is going to be on the 80-20 rule that has completely transformed our 7-figure reselling business.
Okay, so I bet you're wondering what the 80-20 rule is, and it's something that we have analyzed through our sales and realized over the last, especially the last year or two, 80% of our sales we found out come from items that sell for $25 or under. That's not including shipping costs, just $25 and under. And then the 20% come from $25 and up. Now, if you are like us in the beginning, we heard all the YouTube resellers talk about list 10 items a day, find stuff that sell. If you can find stuff that sell for over $50, like $100, stuff like that, you don't have to list as many items. So we want to try to find that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, going into Goodwills and thrift stores, those things aren't just laying around in the plentiful.
You don't say!
So we got frustrated with trying to find that kind of stuff constantly. Like, we were still making good money, but finding that those kind of elite tier items was more few and far between. So we decided to test out buying some stuff that would sell for less money, paying less for them as well, and getting things that was only going to sell for $20, $15, $20, $25. And it turns out there are a lot of things that will sell for that much. Thousands of items a month we sell in that range of $15 to $25 all day.
And if we didn't, 80% of our sales would not exist, and we would not be the 7-figure sellers. We'd be the low 6-figure sellers.
Yeah. So if you're trying to broaden your business and make it to where it's more of a full-time gig, we think you're going to have to to find the right amount of items, you're going to have to broaden it up. Now, some people don't want to, either they don't want to scale up, they don't want to do that, or they have really good sourcing where they can find a whole lot of that stuff that sells for 25, 35, 50, whatever. Sells for more money.
Eventually, even if you have really good sourcing, if you do bulk buys and wholesale and stuff, not everything you buy in that is going to be over $25. I mean, you're going to have to learn what sells in that lower tier, because a lot of the times with those big bulk buys, I mean, you might get 100 things you don't even want, but you got 2,000 that you wanted a lot, or maybe 900 that you really wanted. So you have to figure out how to move those 100 that maybe weren't necessarily in your wheelhouse that you didn't really want. So
yeah. So what kind of things are we selling for 25 and less? Well, we're going to go through kind of like a little what sold style of the last, I believe, 30 days. And we're going to go through some stuff, that 25 items that sold for 25 and less, and 25 that sold for 25 and above. And hopefully you can see that there's a lot of things that do sell for 25 and below, and that if you really want to kind of kick this thing open and sell more items and do more in sales, this may be the thing for you. So let's get into some items.
And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video. We had some reselling beef going on the internet. We want to kind of address that a little bit. And we're not going to go crazy with it, but if you want to find out a little bit of the, I don't want to say drama, but a little bit of the reselling, blah, 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 stick around to the end.
All right. First item we got here, we couldn't really settle on 25, so we got to like 27 or 28 of the cool items. So you're welcome. This first one we found, I found at a thrift store, cost $35. I had to pay $35 for it. Sold it for $135 in a week. Might have been able to sell it for a little bit more, but this is specifically the Robert Graham Silk Road. So Robert Graham, when they have something that's limited edition, Silk Road like this, that's made out of higher end materials, that's really rare, they're going to sell for a lot more money and sell very quickly.
And the louder the pattern, the better on these things.
So this one, and we have 2 camera angles today, so shout out. But yeah, $135, really good sale, made right around $85, $90.
Yep. And this is, did you say this is, I'm pretty sure you did, but this is the over $25, obviously. You can tell by the price too. Next is a pair of Salvatore Ferragamo men's leather shoes. Now, some of these can go for crazy, crazy money, but these are kind of a little bit of a less substantial as far as Ferragamo shoes go, just a little slide-on loafer. But these did sell for $123, and they sold in less than a week. So if you see a pair of Ferragamos, let me find even like the condition on these, not the greatest condition. The bottoms were very worn. They're probably going to need to be resold as well. But this is the logo.
Not resold like sole as in the shoe.
Like, yeah, a new bottom of the shoe put in. But not the greatest condition, but still sold for over $120. Definitely an item we don't find a lot of, but it does help keep everything flowing.
So if you're wondering if we pick up shoes, because we do get that question
they're
sometimes,
really good stuff, yeah.
We do pick up shoes. Like these Flux shoes that were my size, almost bought, no, I'm just kidding. But they They are exercise workout shoes. They really didn't need any work at all. They were basically just take pictures of it and put them in a bag.
Yeah.
So that's when we'll buy shoes for the most part. If it's some like really high end, like those Ferragamos, and they need a little bit of work,
yeah,
we still might do that. But for the most part, like these sold for right around $50, and they sold really quickly. Flux is very similar to like a Noble or like a Reebok CrossFit, Nike
like
CrossFit
Noble
shoe.
used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's something that they sell very quickly. They're going to sell right between 45, 65, something like that. If you can list them higher, maybe take some offers. But yeah, this one, we've had 2 or 3 pairs, and all 3 sold in like a week. So very, very good sell through on these.
Yeah, I remember when we first started reselling Noble shoes. I mean, they were kind of like newer when we first started reselling, and they would sell pretty much instantly for close to retail, and that's kind of what these Flux are. They're what Noble shoes kind of used to be, so it's definitely a pickup.
Shout out Owala.
This one is a pretty cool one. This is a size 2XB triple pony Ralph Lauren polo.
Take advantage of the other camera.
Yeah, Ralph Lauren. I said it right. A lot of times people get super angry with me because I say it wrong. Lauren. Yeah, I get trolled a lot. But if you see these big, like giant logos with more than one pony, and you get these 3 in a row, it's called the triple pony. Obviously, it's in the name, right? But this sold for $76, and it sold super quickly. Maybe we could have gotten a little bit of more money out of it. A little bit of more money out of it, but it did sell pretty quickly at that price.
We actually sold a lot of the polo big size stuff, so we didn't want to throw in a whole bunch of polo stuff that sold for more than 25. So polo is still alive and well. Giorgio Armani 2-piece suit. It was a little bit of a smaller size, 38, and the pants were 32 by 28, so not a big size. And this actually had a hole in it as well.
But it's a silk blend, which is good.
Wool and silk, pure new wool. I don't know, is anybody using old
brand
wool
spanking new
for this stuff? But so it does have a couple holes. See, there's
Over
a
here.
little hole, little something with the seam on the pocket. So it wasn't in the best shape for an Armani suit, but to be 100% transparent, I didn't see that when I bought it. But it's fine because I think we only had to pay right around $10 for this, and it sold for $100 very quickly. So.
And there are lower tiers of Armani. This is not one of the lower tiers. I think Armani Collection is a little bit
Monsieur, of a... No, Monsieur is
that's
Monsieur?
Christian Dior.
Yeah, Dior, sorry.
Yeah. Giorgio Armani, if it has Collection under or Collection, it is a little bit of a lower tier.
Collezione or Collection?
I don't know. One of those two. Next is
Christian's proud of this one.
A Zero Restriction Tour Series pullover, but it sold for $95 because of this logo right here that says Pine.
There's an up-close picture of it.
No, there is. Okay, it says Pine Valley. We did a video on golf course logos that add value. Not a lot of people watched it, so if you see this sale and you're like, oh, maybe I should watch that video, circle back over to that video and give it a little bit of love.
It's the one with like 1,000 views.
Yeah, not very, I mean, it did absolutely awful, but I'm sure it has helped some people. I've had people comment on videos saying that, hey, I found something based off this video, and that's great. But this sold for $95 pretty much instantly, and if it did not have that logo on it, it would have probably sold for like $30 in a couple months. So it adds a lot of value, this logo here, and it definitely makes it sell super quickly, and it makes it way more desirable. So keep an eye on those golf logos, the country clubs, golf courses. They could add a lot of value.
This is a Banana Republic blazer. Now it is a velour velvet. It's new with tags. I think this was an arbitrage. We found this in a retail store on clearance, and it sold for that. Was it 95? I think it was like 85. I think it sold for $85 new. We only had to pay right around 15, I believe, for it. So very good sale, and it was, I believe, a pretty quick sale too.
Really fast. Too bad. Yeah. I think I might have priced it a little low. Personally, I saw it and thought, who's going to buy? Who's going to wear
a red color like that? Something that's very
flashy.
Sometimes it can be really good, and it means like the Robert Graham is going to sell really quickly and for a lot. And other times with more mall brand stuff like this, I feel like it can almost hinder it a little bit. And
I priced it low because we had this Canali blazer a while back that was kind of like this, a little more on the flashy side. and it took forever. I don't even know if we sold it. It either took forever to
The
sell.
black one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sold. Well, it must have sold, but it took forever to sell because it was just so like you need that specific person to pick it up.
And that's
so
Canali, like I was saying.
more that's
This
an
is
upper tier.
Banana Republic.
Yeah,
So it's
big
something
difference.
that is also not as sought out by the fancier people, more wealthy people, you know.
Next is another retail arbitrage find. This is just a pair of Ralph Lauren Varick Slim Straight jeans. The Varick Slim Straight, they seem to perform pretty well for us, new and used. The used ones sell for like 30, 35 bucks, but this was $80.75 because it was a new retail arbitrage find. I believe we paid.
Was that from the Marshall sale?
Yeah, it was no more than $20, maybe around $20 for this. I got it on a yellow tag clearance, so definitely happy with that pickup.
And
we
had a few more of those sell. So we had some corduroy ones sell, and I think a black pair of jeans. So a few more of them sold. Like I said, we didn't want to include them because we didn't want to drown you out with Polo Ralph Lauren. Sorry. They Polo is still, like I said, alive and well. I never said I didn't do it. I do it all the time. These are a pair of G-Star, and they are tapered, I think. Yeah, so just some G-Star jeans that are more slimmer around the ankle. G-Star still does well for us. It sold for that $57.
It seems to sell quickly for us too,
and they sold fast. So they kind of almost look like I have some kind of coating on them.
Yeah, like kind of like a wax coating.
Yeah, but
should probably included that.
Maybe it didn't.
Oh, wax. Yeah, wax.
Oh, it does. Okay, well there you go, wax. Yeah.
Another thing about G-Star Raw as the brand, there is another brand that is kind of similar. It's called Project Raw. Don't get them confused. Project Raw is nowhere near as good as G-Star Raw. So I accidentally bought a pair of Project Raw pants a while back and thought they were G-Star Raw.
Well, we sell them. They sell.
They still sell, yeah, but like instead of $100 for a new pair, they're $20. So next is a Lily Pulitzer dress, and with these dresses, the louder and brighter the pattern is, the better. This was a new,
the bigger size.
Yeah, bigger sizes. The smaller size stuff,
we've kept the size 0 for 2 years.
Yeah, you can find a lot of the smaller size stuff for good prices, even new with tags at thrift stores, just like in our area specifically, but they don't seem to sell. The bigger size stuff does sell pretty quickly for us, though. This sold for, I believe, like $90, and it sold relatively quickly within a month. So
I think Lily Pulitzer has more of a mature crowd, like a mature audience.
Yeah.
So the smaller sizes don't seem to do as well.
I mean, and we're getting close to half of retail. So if we get close to half of retail for an item that's new at tags, that's a good day for us because normally it's a little less than half.
These are just outer known Apex. They're almost like sweatpants, kind of. You know, they have that look to them, but you can just put pants.
That sweatpant look.
Yeah, the outer known is a really good brand. It performs well, always has. These sold for I think $44, $45, and they sold very well, not very quickly. We were going into summer when we bought them, so it was kind of a weird time for pants like that to sell. And now that we are coming into the colder months, the September, October, that stuff's starting to move. So.
All right, next is a vintage Detroit Tigers hat. Now, on these vintage hats, I priced them pretty high, but we take most reasonable offers. So I might have priced this for $95, but I think I took a $59 offer on it. So yeah,
$59.
You can get a lot of money for them, but they can also sit around for a really long time, and they're really not that hard to find. Vintage hats are all over the place. They're hard to find in this good of condition, I will say. It was in really good shape, but it did sell, and I think, how long did it take for this thing to sell? It's
about a month.
Yeah, about a month to sell. So
you get a lot of offers on them. You get a lot of low ball offers.
Yeah, vintage NFL hats, vintage Major League Baseball hats, pretty much anything vintage and sports team related, we're picking up if it's a hat.
Some Burberry's blazer found at a thrift store. I think this wasn't full price, was it, or was it? I don't remember.
I think it was full price.
I think it was right around that 95, maybe 85, 90, something like that. Like I said, this one sold close to 30 days ago, so it's hard to remember every sale. But this one, like I said, didn't have it. Well, we had it for a while.
We don't pay up for Burberry because it seems to sit. This sold pretty. I don't know. It did sit.
We don't pay for a lot for Burberry's that is plain like this. If it would have had like the Nova check that is specifically
It
for
is
burglaries,
herringbone. Oh yeah,
so that
that's
is
true.
a cooler pattern. But for the men's kind of just regular old, they don't sell for as much. Still a good sale for a blazer, but it might sit around for a hot minute.
And this was recreated. We use Nifty to recreate our listings. That way we keep them fresh. They also have the AI features that all these other AI listers have. So we think all the AI listers are pretty much the same with title structures. So if you want to get the recreate feature as well to help you move your old inventory, Nifty is a great option for you guys.
Okay, that was me, right? Your turn.
Okay, Sid Mashburn. So Sid Mashburn is a really good brand. It seems to sell within a week, if not a couple of days, every time we pick it up. This sold for that $57, and it sold, and it looks like about a week. So pretty much as soon as you list it, it's getting offers, it's getting traction, and it's going to sell.
That's just a cotton one.
Yeah, this is just a cotton button-down shirt. If it would have been linen, 60, 65, something like that.
Another cool one that hopefully you guys know is Aviator Nation. This is just
there's a little logo right there.
Little logo there. It's just a regular T-shirt. The lightning bolt is pretty common for them. Something that I think
I feel like we find the T-shirts the most often.
I think he says most often. I think we found it 6 times in 2 years, 5 or 6 times in 2 years.
Yeah.
So not a 2 or 3 years. So not a ton. But when we do, I think we found 3 recently. So that was kind of weird. But
yeah.
This sold for $52.25 just for a plain old T-shirt. We sold another one on Posh for $50. So something that sells very quickly and sells for a premium, especially for something just a T-shirt.
Don't take low offers on this stuff. You just wait a week, maybe 2, you'll get a higher offer. Rowback. Tony found this one. I think we had a video where we kind of talked. It was in our sourcing video, right?
$1,000 a day.
The $1,000 challenge. It was in that video. This did sell. I believe it sold for around $70, and it sold super quickly. Could we have gotten a little bit more? Maybe, but we were pretty happy with that price.
I think I had to pay 12 to 15 for this or something like that, so not bad.
Rowback is one of those brands that was good when we started and is still very good. So if you see it, buy it for sure.
Another brand.
Pay up too. It doesn't matter.
Triple Aught Design. This is has treated us very well and is sold for, I believe, that $95 price. Just a regular old pair of pants, kind of like a tactical ripstop style. Something that is very similar to like a 511 tactical style pant. So, but that little brand, that little logo is gonna treat you well. So.
And anytime you see made in California on something, or made in the UK, made in Portugal, these are all good signs that the item, or made in USA, is going to be a little more of a premium brand. And this is in our men's brands list. So if you go over to our description, we have a link to our men's brands list that has all these really cool brand names that go for big money. And you can check that out for free and get a little bit of brand knowledge.
Pick it up in pretty much any condition. Like we've picked up Triple Aught Design in horrible condition with big logos on it, and it's still sold for $60-$70. So you can still sell it.
Next is a Harley women's jacket. This was a thrift store find. I know that it's new with tags, but we did buy it in a thrift store, so we figured we'd include it. Harley stuff, not the greatest, but if you have like a distressed jacket like this and it's meant to actually look distressed, or even if it's not meant to look distressed and it just has very even distressing,
or studded, or like a big logo.
The jackets seem to do the best in Harley. Jeans, not so great, but the jackets and even the boots can be okay. But this sold for, $80, and it sold pretty quickly at that price. And it's a women's jacket, but it is a 2XL. So the plus size stuff obviously is going to do a lot better than the little tiny stuff. And for some reason, when we find women's Harley stuff, it's normally pretty small sizes. So finding a new with tag plus size Harley jacket was a definite rarity.
Also, he said jeans aren't that great. If you can find the ones that have the writing padded kind of stuff, so you don't get road rash if you crash and stuff.
Like motorcycle pants.
That kind of stuff will do better.
Oh, that stuff does really well. That's a good point.
Typical jeans. This is one, probably Ralph Lauren's highest line. It definitely is. It's the Ralph Lauren purple label.
Double RL is pretty expensive though.
Yeah, but
it's the highest. Yeah. He's right. It's the highest.
It's the
they're pretty close.
Luxurious. Double RL is kind of more like the higher end for their more everyday clothing. They have jeans, jackets, regular shirts and stuff. Purple label is more, I feel like, dress clothes and just nicer overall materials. But this one's going to overseas, I believe. I think it was an international sale, so no returns. And it was just made out of cotton, and it sold for 50 bucks. So probably priced it a little bit on the lower end. I think I could have listed it higher, probably in the 85 to 100 area, but we got this at a Goodwill for $5. So I was like, you know what, just
Take
get
the
rid of it.
offer.
Yep.
All right, next we have a Canterbury of New Zealand rugby jersey. Now this is a vintage jersey. It's in great shape. This stuff, it can be really good or it can be fake. So, I mean, make sure it's not a fake one. It can be either great for your account or terrible. So make sure it's authentic. Check all the stitching, check all the branding and the logos, and make sure everything lines up perfectly. But this one was authentic and it sold pretty quickly. I think it sold within, let's see, yeah, it sold pretty quickly within a month. For, I believe we took a $70 offer. It could have been a little bit more. Could have been, definitely wasn't less than 70. But yeah, sold really quickly. This vintage rugby stuff can be really hot sellers, especially if it's like from Europe and it's in the United States. And I mean, a lot of times people in the United States follow those European teams pretty closely. So
another find from our $1,000 a day, and once again, that was one of our last videos, and it already sold. So it's just the classic polo. This one's used though.
Big logos.
Big crest there with the Polo RL on the front, and then the big number 3 on the back. I don't know why they always pick 3, but they seem to always pick number 3. And it sold for $75 or $80.
I saw a thing on TikTok of all places where if you buy
where everybody sees everything.
Stuff from the Ralph Lauren store, you can actually go. They have like a section in the store where you can have patches put on for free. So I don't know if that's what this patch was. I don't think it is because it was. We were able to Google Lens it and find the same one. But if you find like a weird patch on a Ralph Lauren shirt, it could be something that somebody had added on in the store, which is kind of a cool, fun fact. Next is a, you look very amused by that fact. Next is
anybody say that before.
Next is a Loro Piana cashmere blazer. The cashmere Loro Piana stuff is by far the best, unless you get a vicuña. Super rare to find a vicuña. We've actually only found one vicuña thing in our entire reselling career. I found it, not a big deal, but it did sell for a lot of money. It's the most expensive fabric in the world. But second to that, cashmere. I think baby cashmere is actually even better. But this sold for around $60, and it actually sold twice. It sold once, got returned, and then sold again. So this one wasn't recreated. Well, it technically was, but it was a return that sold again. So Loro Piana cashmere stuff on pretty much any brand is going to be a pickup.
This is an Under Armour quilted puffer, just a regular kind of a jacket style thing with the logo. Still sold for 50 bucks, and it was pretty recent sale, I think. So you know, not too bad. We bought it going out of winter coat season, and now it's going back into that season. So
and for some reason, the Under Armour jackets like this seem to sell for quite a bit more than like a regular Under Armour jacket. Next is a pair of Bruno Magli men's loafers. Bruno Magli is another one of those higher end men's shoe brands, kind of like Ferragamo, but not as good. Ferragamo is definitely way better than Bruno Magli, especially sell-through rate-wise. But Bruno Magli is still a super expensive retail shoe, well over $400 or $500 for these new, maybe even higher than that. I don't know how much these cost new, but super expensive, made in Italy. Anytime you see made in Italy on a pair of shoes, look it up because you could be in for some really big money, even if you don't know what it is. But sold for around $80. Actually, I think it was a little less, maybe $70 for these. And actually sold pretty quickly.
It was a small size, so we take offers on smaller sizes of luxury.
And these little buckles on loafers seem to do pretty well. Anytime there's like a little buckle on the outside of a loafer.
You can get a horse bit. Horse bits are good.
Yeah, horse bits.
This is a fun one. Some Roosevelts. You know, it says RSVLTS. And this is a woman's button-up. Weirdly, I didn't know they made a bunch of women's clothing, but it has the Hogwarts castle on the front. Pretty cool combo between Harry Potter and Roosevelt's, and this sold for, I believe, $45, and it sold very quickly. Actually, it took about a month or two, but not too bad.
All right, next is another Ralph Lauren, but This is a big pony. It was, I believe, new without tags. Let's see. Yeah, there's no tags. So this was a new without tags, had a little sticker on it. So we sold it as a new without tags. Obviously, I just said that 5 times. But it sold for $64.60. We like the hoodies with the big logos, and this had a nice little plaid pattern too, which all it sold like pretty much instantly as soon as we listed it. So
It's another the yellow tag sale find.
yeah, maybe we could have got a little bit more for it, but we're happy to sell it quickly and just turn our money over.
Fun North Face coat here. It's the Tri-Climate High Vent, and it sold I think around $70. Once again, bought it going out of coat season. Now that we're going back in, you know, selling pretty good. So,
all right, last but not least is a pair of Amiri men's jeans. These are kind of more of a on the skinny side, which normally we don't pick up skinny jeans, but Amiri is a super expensive brand. It had this nice little cherub on the side, which is going to make it sell for a little bit more. Sold these really quickly for $70. We sold them internationally, so super happy with that sale. I think we paid like $10, maybe $12 for these. So $12 into 70. We're gonna take that all day long. Make sure they're not fake though. This brand is faked because it has a super high retail value. So make sure it's not fake. And it's pretty easy to tell if they're fake because the fakes aren't that great. So
next, going into the 25 and less. All right, now we moved on, like I said, to the 25 and under. This is a Polo Sport Ralph Lauren windbreaker. This sold for right at that $25 mark. Now, we sometimes list stuff a little higher than 25, expecting to get an offer. That was the case with this one. Polo Sport does pretty well. It's older, so we didn't think to go crazy with it. And yeah, sold for 25, and it sold pretty quickly. It's got some little wear on the neckline too.
Some staining a little bit. Next is a Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee Company jacket. Black Rifle Coffee Company actually does really well. It doesn't sell for a ton of money, but even like t-shirts and stuff like that will sell pretty well. This sold for around $25, and it took a little while to sell. I priced it a little high originally at $38.
We don't find it a lot.
Yeah, the size, honestly, the size is what hurt this the most. A small size is not the greatest with this particular brand, but it's still a good brand to pick up if you can get it pretty cheap.
These Levi's were longer, so I don't really know why we listed them at 31 since they're just used. Maybe a little accident there. Well, but they sold decently fast, so 3 or 4 months, but we sold them for $24, $23, and yeah, so not too bad.
Old Navy, these are new with tags. It's just an example of how you can pick up everyday mall brands, and if they're new with tags, sometimes that will carry it through. New with tags, good sizes. Both those things have to be going for it to pick up Old Navy, which this had both, and it sold for $23.75 relatively quickly in a couple of months.
Yeah, you got to think about those. That one, before we even started selling clothing, I had never heard of brands like Triple Out Design. I never heard of Ralph Lauren Purple Label and stuff like that. So one, people know about mall brands more. They know about the Old Navies a lot. They know how it fits them, and people don't have so much money to go and like, I'm going to spend $95 on a used pair of pants. Like, that's not I mean, some people might do that aren't financially responsible, but more people I feel like are looking for the new with tag still, but like the more mall brands.
So yeah, they still think they're getting a deal, but it's not a great brand.
Yeah. So in our eyes, I mean, Old Navy's good. I mean, they have good stuff.
Yeah, and Old Navy sponsor us.
Yeah,
please.
in like the reseller mind, we're not thinking like, oh, this is a grail. Like, we found Old Navy with new, so that kind of thing. Just kind of change your perspective. Lucky Brand, just some used Lucky Brands. These sold for right around 25. I think it was 23 or 24, but they sold pretty quick. So,
all right, next is the Perfect Jean NYC pair of men's jeans. They're a good size, 44 by 28. They're a good colorway. They're a dark black wash. So a lot of things going for these, and they did sell for 20. I think they were a little over 25, but we just included them because basically in that same $25 price range, around $28, and they sold really quickly at that price. Actually, not really quickly. They sold in a couple of months, but they were recreated.
They were going out of. It was March, so I don't think a lot of people buying jeans for April, May, and June, July, that August weather. So we're going more into that fall where people wear pants more often again, like I've said 3 times in this video. And you might be wondering why we normally price a little higher So there's plenty of videos that you look at sold comps and look at stuff listed, and you don't want to price your stuff at the lowest, but you don't want to price it at the highest either. So you kind of find that in the middle where a lot of stuff sell.
And sometimes we price differently, like during the season. So if we list a pair of pants during winter time, we'll price it a little bit higher. But if we list it in the summertime, we're going to price them a little bit lower.
So yeah, just kind of look at them when you're looking at that pricing. Just know that's kind of baked in. But these sold for 23 or 24, I believe, which is like, like 30% off, which is fine. We only try to pay around $5 for bonobos, but yeah, sold relatively quickly as well.
I think we sold these a little too cheap. These were new without tags.
I think it was 25 then. Yeah, new without. We sell a bunch of bonobos, so it's hard to remember. But new without tags, not necessarily going to get the same value as new with tags, but 25 is not bad.
Next is a Notre Dame men's hoodie. All these college football season is actually coming up right now, starting up this weekend. So all these college football team stuff like jerseys, hoodies, polos, anything you can find, get that stuff on if you have it laying around, because it will start to sell now that football season in full swing. This sold for around $25, and it's not the greatest brand in the world. The league's not, I mean, it's not a terrible brand, but it's not like something that's going to bring a super premium.
Yep, and we do also have like coupons and sales that run on all the time too. So that one was, sometimes it's not offer, sometimes it's customers take advantage of the sales. It's normally around $5 to $7 off if it's more expensive. Grayson polo stuff we sell a lot. This one sold for right around 25. I think it was like 23 or 24. But yep, you're not going to get like 30 or 40 like some people want out of Grayson, but in that 20 to 25 range still sells pretty
Kind of depends on the pattern. Some patterns, if it's associated with a golf course, sometimes it sells for more. But just like a general stripe, super regular plain one like this, yeah, you're not going to get $40 for it. Next is a pair of G4 men's golf shorts. What this has going for it is it has these skulls all over it. A lot of times that's a good keyword to add for stuff like this, which we did, skull print. But these only sold for $25. We took the offer coming out of short season. We're going to take pretty much any offer we get on shorts, and we probably think that you should too. That way it just doesn't sit for a whole year. But that's why we took the offer on those.
Some Patagonia jeans. Don't find these too often. They don't really do that well. I think
surprisingly, yeah, not that great.
This was a customer took advantage of the discount. I think it was right around $23 and some change. So.
But sold pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
I said, sometimes we list stuff based off the season. If it's not really pants season when we list it, we're going to list it a little cheaper. Lululemon men's t-shirt. These normally don't sell for that much. They normally sell between $20 to $25 for us, but they do sell consistently, and we do pick them up if we can pay the right price for them. So,
Paul Stewart. This is a brand we started picking up, and it sells pretty well used. This one sold for, I think, right around that $25 range, and yeah, sold good. Sold Paul Stewart. It looks kind of weird. You think it would not do very good, but it does.
It's really expensive, super expensive. Next is Izod, new with tags. We find a lot of this in our area for whatever reason. It seems to be pretty abundant. We normally pay $5 for it. We don't go any more than that because it's just not worth that much more. We actually sold this for $25, so 5 into 25. We're doing that all day long, and we're turning our money over quickly. Yeah. This sold within a month. So
thing with Izod, we like bigger sizes. A lot of those mall brands, if it's 40 and up, that's normally really good. And if it's below that, you get in the mid 30s, sometimes it's like, maybe we need like a better pattern, a better style, something like that. So TaylorMade. So this was interesting that it was TaylorMade doesn't really make a lot of their own clothing. And so this one was by Ashworth. So they actually had to go with another company to make the polo. This sold for $25. They have good sell-through rates. So if you see an actual TaylorMade polo like this, I would pick it up. So,
all right. Next is a pair of Under Armour joggers. Very bread and butter. Something you're going to be able to find at pretty much any thrift store you go to. And this sold for, I think it was at $26.60, $25, $26.60, somewhere around that. Did sell within a couple of months as well. So if you get a good size, newer style Under Armour jogger, it's going to sell for like $20. And if you pay $5 for it, that's really not that bad, to be honest.
Also thinking about this 80-20 rule, the 80 that does sell for 25 around there and under, it is sometimes you do have to hold on to it, which is fine for us. We know that doesn't really work out for a lot of people, but you do end up, after you get to a certain size in your store, you do see the benefits of that, and you start making more and more money based just because you're selling more and more stuff. And normally you don't have to pay as much for them either. So you can normally pay between $1 and $5, whether you get them from the bins or just a traditional thrift store. So you might have to incorporate that into your head where I might have to hold on to this stuff, or just take more offers and see what you can do. But,
and that's why this video, we structure it the way we did. We put the more exciting, more fun, entertaining stuff at the beginning of the video, the stuff that a lot of people are looking for as resellers, that really gets their blood going, gets their heart pounding, gets them excited. But that's why we made this video the 80-20 rule, because 80% of the items we find are of this caliber, and that's how we're able to resell full time. It's selling this lower caliber stuff, but in volume. So if you can't find a lot of stuff in your area and you're complaining, maybe it could be your area, 100% could be your area, but it could be maybe you don't have your 80-20 ratio quite down in a way that's able to scale. So
next they got a Adidas tracksuit jacket kind of a thing here, and it sold for that $21.85, and it sold about a month, so not too shabby there. If they got a lot of the stripes and that
the 3 stripes,
that logo, that the kind of old style Adidas logo seems to do pretty well. So not a ton of money, obviously, but you're pay $3 or $4 or $5 for it and sell it for 21. That's
I think they call it the Adidas Originals logo.
I don't know what it is.
Next is an Under Armour Project Rock. That's the line of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It normally says either Blood, Sweat, Respect or Project Rock on it, and it even has his name signed on it every once in a while. But you see this little bull with the horns? That's going to be the telltale sign that this is what that is.
I think it was $20.
Sold for $20. Was super faded, not super faded, but relatively faded. A very worn jacket, and it still sold for a decent amount.
Packed.
I think we paid like $3 for that.
Yeah. Packed pants. Packed. We didn't have it very long. Maybe a week or two or something like that, and sold for $25. So organic cotton. You like seeing words like that, or like hemp, or just something that shows that it seems like it's higher end.
Hemp.
Yeah.
They built
organic.
They built a giant weed store next to our local Goodwill. So the people working there are like, oh,
it used
no.
to be an old White Castle, so they still have like the castle column at the top. It looks stupid, but
yeah.
Anyway,
now it's a gigantic weed store. So we'll see how that goes. We'll report back once they open up. Next is a Denver Broncos pullover. What this has going for it is that it's a large size. It's a 3XLT big, and it is a NFL sports team, which obviously any sports team is going to add a little bit of value, and it's going to make it sell faster.
Especially coming into football season in 2 weeks.
Perfect time of year, long sleeve, perfect for the weather. It's not super cold yet. So this sold for $25, and it sold, took a couple of months to sell, but we weren't really in the long sleeve weather season when we listed it, so it kind of makes sense.
Plus, like I said, sometimes the sports stuff you do have to hold on to for a couple of months, but we're okay with doing that. These Nikes, the tapered leg, so
the running,
almost,
for sure.
Yeah, they're the running stuff that they're not going to ride up on you. They're going to stay down there, and they're not going to go over your shoes either. So
and for whatever reason, Nike charges more money for their running line. I don't know why that is, but it's like twice as expensive.
Anyway, they sold for like $25, $25, and they sold very quickly as well. So
I'm a big Nike guy. Even before I was recently, I don't know why I like Nike stuff so much.
I hope this is Under Armour you're wearing. That'd be funny.
It's Nike. It's got a big Nike on the neck.
Oh, I can't see it.
Anyway, this is a Roan pullover. It's an older piece. If you see this logo, and the little red lines above it and the red line underneath, it's super old. I don't even know how old this is. It's got to be.
I would buy it again.
It's got to be at least 10 years old. Took forever to sell.
You think Roan's 10 years old company? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is. Look it up. How old? Look it up.
No, I don't. I don't.
We're gonna fact check as we go.
When was the company Roan founded? 2014. Yeah, 11 years. 11 years.
Blind guess, but I was right. Oh, we're still recording. Anyway, yeah, the older run stuff like this, I mean, super basic, not really.
I think it sold for like 20 bucks.
Not that great looking. Maybe don't pick it up. It took forever to sell. It was recreated, so Nifty really saved their butt on this one. But yeah, maybe don't pick it up if it is the older one. But it did sell, and it's definitely a type of brand that we would consider kind of a more bread and butter brand, unless it's new or a super current style.
Faraday pants sold right around that $25 range. And they had a couple things wrong with them. Actually, I think it did sell for 20.
Stain.
They had a stain on them, so you know.
Look at this pointer stick.
Still sold for 20 bucks, and you know,
looks like my finger.
Can't beat that. Brand you can sell for 20 bucks with a stain.
Next is a TM Lewin men's button-down shirt. This sold for that $26.60, and it sold really quickly. I'm not super familiar with this brand. It looks kind of like, is it kind of like Charles Tyrwhitt?
Yeah, TM Lewin is like a dress shirt, kind of just normal kind of clothing company that sells, obviously that's stupid. They sell dress clothes, it feels like.
Button-down shirts.
Button-down shirts, blazers, and things like that, TM Lewin. From what I've seen, we've sold their ties and stuff, but every time I've bought it, it sold. I think we've bought it 4 or 5 times, and it sold quickly every time.
So this is a bolo for me.
This one sold in not even a week. So
Tony is the button-down shirt master,
and it's one of our top categories. Just saying. North Face, pull on just normal pants like this.
Women's
hiking, outdoor stuff like that for North Face, and an olive green color has been doing well for us. It's sold for $24, and the size is good. North Face for these basics, you're not gonna get a ton for them like you will like the fancy coats, the goose down, things like that, or
Gore-Tex,
something that's cargo, really fancy Gore-Tex, like so. But this one's just more normal, sold for the low 20s and sold very quickly as well.
All right, I got the last one.
I got a pee.
This is a pair of Hudson women's jeans, but they are the signature boot cut. A lot of times with these middle to lower mall-tier brands, we definitely don't pick up the skinny. That stuff just does not sell. Even if it's new with tags, I mean, just stay far, far away from the skinny jeans, even if it's new with tag. But if it's women's, men's, whatever, don't buy them.
Men's isn't as bad. Women's,
I'm talking about skinny.
Well, skinny.
Skinny is not good. But boot cut is why we picked these up. They sold for $23.75, and they sold within a month at that price. So if you see Hudson women's boot cut jeans, always look them up, right? Don't just listen to us. Always look them up. But they sold super fast for us. So take with that what you will.
All right, guys. That is the 80-20 rule explained and some examples. Something that has really changed how many items we sell, the number of total sales numbers that we did.
And makes it possible to scale.
Yeah, so it's something that we recommend if you have the capital, the storage, and the willingness to kind of wait on the 80% items, you know, something that might be a little bit more long tail, but will pay off in the end. We promise. We've seen it, we've done it, and it really has helped us a lot.
And sometimes stuff like even like, I think for example, Tommy Hilfiger, when we first started reselling, that brand was like almost completely dead, was not selling hardly at all. And if we would have, we didn't do it a lot, but if we would have picked up all the substantial pieces of Tommy Hilfiger and just paid less for them and just held on to them, they would have been worth a lot more, and we would have been able to sell them now. So looking back on it, I wish we would have picked up the new tag stuff, because now we're selling new tag Tommy Hilfiger stuff for like 30+ bucks. And before, we literally wouldn't even buy it for $2. So you can kind of win in the long run if you pick up this stuff when it's a good price and it's new with tags specifically. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got something out of those tips and tricks. Maybe picked up something new to help you and your eBay business. But that's all we have. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out Nifty for 15% off. It's the best discount available, and we have the free mini course at resalebrothers.com. 100% free, walks you through from the setup process to all the way importing your inventory and converting everything over. So hopefully it's a free resource, so hopefully you guys check that out, and we'll use it if you're not already checking Nifty out.
We can't wait to get into new videos, new content. We got a lot of new ideas for 2026, so stay tuned, and we can't wait to see you there. Peace.